The Somnia Paradox. What if every dream you had came true? The day the world changed wasn't marked by an explosion, but by a collective whisper. It began subtly. A childhood dream of finding a buried treasure chest under the old oak tree actually yielded a chest filled with antique coins. A fleeting midnight fantasy about a favorite celebrity showing up at your door became a jarring, real-life doorstep conversation. The consensus was rapid, terrifying, and exhilarating. Every dream you had came true. This wasn't a spontaneous wish fulfillment. It was a global, fundamental shift in reality. Dubbed the Somnia Paradox, Dr. Eris Thorne, a leading neurologist and sleep specialist, was thrust into the center of the world's most beautiful and dangerous event. His initial televised address was a message of hope. Humanity was now its own architect. Eris himself immediately started planning his own dreams, curing his sister's rare neurological disorder, inventing true clean energy, building a magnificent, impossible glass tower in the sky. All came true within weeks, and Eris was a global hero, the poster child for the dream age. For the first few months, it was paradise. Global warming reversed, disease eradicated, and world hunger solved by millions of people dreaming of abundant, self-sustaining ecosystems. The landscapes of Earth became an eclectic, beautiful mess of wish fulfillment. Cities of chrome and glass sat next to medieval castles, and the oceans were suddenly filled with bioluminescent, mythic creatures. But the beauty was fragile. Soon, the chaos of the subconscious began to leak. An insecure teenager dreamed of a giant, menacing shadow figure protecting him, and suddenly, a real, physical entity of pure malice stalked the suburbs. A repressed fear of spiders manifested as kilometer-long silk webs coating entire regions. The problem wasn't the nice dreams, it was the nightmares. Dreams of abandonment resulted in massive, structural holes appearing in the ground. Dreams of losing control birthed unpredictable weather systems that obeyed no laws of physics. Reality became a battleground of collective anxieties. Eris realized the true terror was the volume and speed of the manifestation. Every fleeting thought, every half-waking fear, every nonsensical midnight image was now a brick in the constantly shifting structure of the world. The solution, he theorized, wasn't to dream better things, but to stop dreaming altogether. His team developed the Somnia Suppressor, a neural implant designed to lock the mind into perpetual, dreamless sleep. It was controversial, dystopian even, but with reality dissolving daily, it was the only way to stabilize the world. They started with the worst dreamers, the mentally ill, the trauma victims, the children with vivid night terrors. They successfully carved out pockets of stable, dreamless zones, oases of reality in the swirling mess of the Somnia Paradox. Eris, burdened by guilt but convinced of his necessity, prepared to implant the suppressor into his own brain, sacrificing his own ability to dream for the safety of humanity. The world watched, breath held. The twist asterisk. Just as the surgical robot lowered the final electrode toward Eris's temple, the signal on his console began to flash red. It wasn't an implant malfunction. It was data streaming from the first Somnia Suppressor subject. Years after implantation, the data showed that the subject was indeed experiencing no dreams, no REM sleep, and a perfectly stable neural pattern. But the external reality surrounding the subject was not stable. In fact, it was constantly, violently changing, but only in their immediate vicinity. Eris, a renowned scientist who understood the very core of the Somnia Paradox, finally put the pieces together, and the horrifying truth of his initial theory collapsed. The dreams were not manifesting into reality, they were simply reflecting it. The Somnia Paradox wasn't an effect of the subconscious creating reality, it was a symptom of reality itself breaking down on an unprecedented, cosmic scale. And the human brain, during its most open state, REM sleep, was the only organ sensitive enough to perceive and project these subtle, constant alterations. The giant shadow figures, the spontaneous glass towers, the weather chaos, none of it was caused by the dreamers. It was all simply happening, and the dreams were the brain's desperate, fragmented attempts to process and catalog the impossible changes occurring outside. The unexpected twist, the Somnia Suppressor didn't save reality. It blinded the only entity, the human mind, capable of sensing the true disintegration. By stopping the dreams, Eris hadn't cured the world. He had merely silenced the alarm. The perfectly stable zones were merely areas where no one could perceive the ongoing, accelerated collapse. Eris realized his sister's cure, the glass tower, the eradicated disease. They were not his wishes coming true, but pre-existing anomalies that his dreaming mind correctly predicted would appear in reality. The dreams weren't the cause, They were the prophecies. The world wasn't chaotic because of our nightmares. It was chaotic because some unknown, external force was systematically destroying the fundamental laws of existence, and humanity's subconscious was the only working sensor array left. As the electrode touched his skin, Eris knew his final act would be to choose not just to stop dreaming, but to choose permanent, blissful ignorance *** of the approaching cosmic end. He was silencing the last witness,